skirt was destroyed.
It's only, like that gentleman said, it's only 7:05. And there are plenty of people out here already. Hundreds of people. Let's go over and get a few people over here. How long have you been out here?
10 to 4.
10 to 4. Who are you here?
Obviously.
Curious about my life. I never really intended to become a comic book artist. I went to college and got a degree in psychology, and I was actually a pre-med when I was there, and something just didn't gel right. And
you know what?
Okay. Always love this cover. Look at the whales too. The texture for the whales is just really cool. The Gen 13 archive is a must own because it's your very best black and white source for anything early J. Scott Campbell.
Glad you could take a few minutes to talk with us. Just got some basic questions, some things that a lot of it's probably been asked before, but
right.
I don't know if there's anything that hasn't been asked.
I've heard almost every single question you could probably come up with, but go ahead.
I figure.
See if you can shock me here.
Okay, well, we're going to start up with who came up with crossover, the killer.
Basically, Mark and I had been talking as last year about doing a project together where the characters Cyberforce and Wildcats interacted, and but we were doing miniseries at the time. We had scheduling problems, obviously, and we really didn't have an opportunity to do something together until this year when we took both titles into regular series. And we decided, since he was coming back with a new regular series and I was continuing sort of the mini-series, we wanted to do a crossover to kind of give the re-releases some punch. Mm-hmm. And that's really how it came about.
Well, like you said in Wildcats 5, it's actually like issue 1, but...
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a completely different storyline. I think some time passed since the miniseries to issue 5, but I just didn't want to start over with another issue 1.
Right.
I feel like there's a certain amount of momentum you lose by starting over again. You want to kind of break the Earth, sort of gravity, and take off and really get rolling with the stories. And if you're continually doing issues 1, 2, 3, and 4, it's difficult to do that. Typical first issues, you have to, follow a certain kind of structure because it's the first issue, and you have to tell the readers about the characters and introduce things in a very logical, sequential way. With an issue 5, you can just go ahead and assume that a lot of the readers are familiar with the characters and get into another story that can have a different and more interesting structure than typical first issues. I think first issues are very difficult to.
This pack feels a little heavier. Wow, cool looking Void. Void just works so well when it comes to Chrome. We got to hit those comments. We got to see what comments are coming in. All right, hold up. Let me just get to my comments. Boom. Okay. Sean Phillips. Very awesome post here. Brian Stillfreeze. Another Dave Johnson. Not Rich Johnson, Dave Johnson. What am I doing? Johnson and David Pearson, both very similar styles of this era. Very cool grifter. Like, this is a cover-worthy image for a trading card. Jason Raskin, very cool. Very cool. Hellspont. Rick Mays. Okay. Warblade here. Oh, we have our first bonus card. Refractor card. Demon Knight. Tony Harris. Tony Harris really came in this working through Wildstorm for Ex Machina after coming off Starman. J. Scott Campbell here. This almost looks like a
delay. We've lost some delays. We've cut back on the number of books on delay. I mean, sales definitely have come down. That's true for all of the industries. I mean, the whole comic book industry is in a slump. I think a lot of the speculators are fleeing, which is good, because I think there will be a return to the days when people bought comic books that they liked, not because of how much they were going to appreciate in a certain amount of time. They'll start picking out books that have good stories, good art, good characters, good storylines. And I welcome that. I mean, the numbers on Image are down, but you're comparing it to a year where they were just, astronomical.
Right.
Actually, this is the official entrance to Wildstorm. As you can see, it's super dark in here. The lights are off. The walls are painted this dark gray. And
we regained some of the faith. I think that the kids still like our work, but I know a lot of retailers are probably angry at us as a whole, and that's primarily because of our shipping difficulties. And at our last big meeting, we laid down some pretty severe rules and punishments for being late, and when we would solicit projects, when we wouldn't solicit projects, how much work had to be done before we even say that this project existed, and penalties for screwing that up. So next year you'll either see a lot of books come out in time, or a lot of people leaving Image as they get fired and canned. So I'm not too owners, but whatever,
Live from the world's financial capital, New York City, this is Moneyline.
Marvel Entertainment fell 3 1/4 today, closing at 49.5. The reason, some people say, is because of what you're about to see.
I'm here with one of the top talents in the comic book business, Jim Lee. Jim, it's great to...
Are you ready for the eclectic one? AKA Pat is here.
People, we are live. What is up, my AKA Patters? It's Wildstorm Wednesday. Let's just get Wildstorm book in view. In vogue, in view. Yeah, so if you're new here, every single Wednesday, we go into a little bit of a browsing, a dive, a review. Sometimes a lot of these flip-throughs are completely new to me. But we do it for Wildstorm Productions, the company created by the one great Jim Lee, who is currently the guy's the publisher of DC Comics. And if you think all the experience he gained with Wildstorm Productions is making DC flourish, you, my friend, you are incorrect. You are wrong. Now, quick technical note. I believe, so I got to test this. So even right now, I guess I should be echoing. but let me just mute my one mic and have a it's kind of funny because I have multiple cameras. They both have the same audio source, so I guess some of that echo might come from a lag. And I'm looking at the screen now. I'm looking at all of you, aka patters. Definitely looks like there's a lag because I'm not seeing myself in real time. But yeah, we're talking Wildstorm. Yeah, I think I stumbled upon a gem. So like originally for Halloween, I wanted to do this. I wanted to do the Chamber of Horrors because it's I'm pretty sure this is one of 3 Halloween specials. I know that there's at least 2. But I don't think there's enough meat here to do like a full discussion. But I still want to do somewhat of a video, somewhat of a commentary on this because I'm very into this as a publication, okay? Because there's no Chamber of Horrors, and I'm not really sure what the intent of this is. They also waste the back cover, which you guys all know I don't like. So before we get into Resident Evil, look, during this time, I think the best books Wildstorm was putting out was their licensed books. They're horror books. Decent Texas Chainsaw, decent Friday the 13th, decent Nightmare on Elm Street. They did a lot of good stuff. Now, Wildstorm proper was, it wasn't there. They were marching towards Stormwatch taking everything over, marching towards the authority phase of the company, which in reality is the final phase. So real quick though, if I may, let me promote myself. Let me promote my wonderful products available right now on Etsy. We have Uzi Susie. So yeah, I mean, we still have packages available. This will be going into single prints very soon. One of a kind underground comic. And then if you go to akapad.com, which I'll throw this right up here. We're all over the place tonight. We are. Right here. Get yourself Wolfpack trading cards at akapad.com for free. Free shipping. People say there's nothing for free. Well, I just need your email and address, and you also join my mailing list. So here we go. Okay. Resident Evil issue 5. Now, I don't have 1 and 3. I have 2, 4, and 5. Jim Lee did the covers from 1 and 3. So this little vein that I found at one of my local comic shops, I'm sure you can guess that someone cherry picked the Jim Lee covers, and that's so tragic because I knew this stuff existed. I didn't know the quality, and I wish the covers. I really do wish the covers spoke about how well of a horror anthology this was. Now, and look, it's 1998, 1999. That's when this crosses over. We're at the tail end of the 90s. The industry's shrinking. There's a little bit of a format wars coming. So even McFarlane did the Kiss magazine. Now, Dreamwave, Devil's Due, those guys are going to revitalize Image, and a lot of the industry as a whole create the 80s nostalgia comic book boom of the 2000s. And through that, digest issues, digest comics, manga size reprints become very prevalent all over the industry. X-Men did them, Devil's Due did them, Dreamwave did them. So the point I'm getting at is the comic book industry is always experimenting with form. It's experimenting with format. This is one of that. Now, you also get something else too. You get this idea that horror comics are best presented in the magazine format, are best presented in the anthology. Nightmare on Elm Street had a magazine at one point that was anthology. And then we go into the mid 80s. Marvel had the whole industry. Eerie magazine, like for some reason, Fangora, horror fanatics, horror fans want the magazine format for horror. They don't really want the comic book format. I think there's a lot that can be said to that. I think there's a little bit of a intrinsic value to oversized horror artwork, and you leave your artists with so much more to do. And I think it's awesome. I think we should always experiment with format and content. You know, like find that intersection. So, but let's get rid of my mug and just focus on this. So we got to do one of these, people. We need a PR ready to go. Okay, let's do this. We also have a Miami Cola, and I am absolutely addicted to these when it comes to Bang. Fantastic product. But cheers to all of you. So I'm dealing with big time lag here. Big time lag. And I don't know where that's coming from. All my internet is looking good otherwise. But yeah, so Wildstorm Wednesday, I just wanted to flip through these and present these because I don't know. You know, I don't know if there's been much commentary. And I think I'm going to eventually do a video where we go through every single story. But let's have a look. Very nice inside cover design right here. Look, everyone knows I'm more of a designer than I am an illustrator. I absolutely love this inside artwork. Look, we have a little raccoon police silhouette here. Just really cool stuff. Ted Adams doing a story. If you guys don't know who Ted Adams is, we will, some of these, like this is, I mean, just the storytelling here is so freaking nice. The use of the blacks. Look, we're pulling the camera away. We're rotating the camera. We're nice use of silhouettes. Really, like, I'm telling you, this is, I think this is Wildstorm at their best. The coloring, I mean, we have very well thought out coloring, meaning we know the focal points, things pop out. The normal Wildstorm muddiness is not there. The alligator, I remember that. That alligator freaked me out with Resident Evil 2. I've only played one of the Resident Evil games all the way through, and it was Resident Evil 2 on PlayStation. And I could not stop. But yeah, and look, we're seeing the expansion of the franchise too, because we have action figures here from Toy Biz. Look at all the product, right? And keep in mind too, Lee Bergamo, right over here, Bergamo. I believe he was a part of Wildstorm's Italian office at one point. I remember back in the day on the Wildstorm blog, they were all in Italy for a while. I'm pretty sure so is Jim Lee. Now, Lee's going to come into his own. I believe he has a story in all three of these issues. But Lee becomes into a premier illustrator, cover artist, concept artist for comic books. Look, speaking of anthologies, we have Fact 2 from Heavy Metal. Keep a fantastic statue here. Sculpted by Claiborne Moore, designed by Simon Bisley. See, and Lee. So, like, Lee Bergamo. I just like butchering people's names. Look at this. Look how awesome of a shot this is. This dude ripping out, this zombie ripping out this dude's throat. But with issue 5, which is the last issue of this, great action shot here. He draws one great story. I'll show you guys that. But this is clean, clear storytelling. And just as an anthology, I think pound for pound, this is better than even what heavy metal was doing at the time. Soundtrack remix by Viz, advertisement for Crimson, which ran, I think, 24 issues, the only consistent cliffhanger book at the time. And here we go. The Resident Evil Chromium trading cards by Wildstorm. Holy crap, are these expensive? These are so tough to get. I was never really a fan of their design, to be very honest. I never wanted them. I never wanted to hunt them down, featuring a Jim Lee cover. Issue 3. So the Jim Lee covers, the Jim Lee cover for issue 3, I think it's Veronica. That he uses so much of that for, look at this, look at the tech here. And look, we have to kind of take a little bit of note at how well Mark Pennington, Mark Irwin, and Jason Minor, who knows who's inking this page. Whoever inked this page, they left just enough for the colorist to layer, look, background, not going crazy with the blacks, but again, using blacks on that centered piece of tech, creating the triangulation of the focus. It's well done. It's well thought out. Even here, like the layering. Look, we have foreground, focal, background, silhouettes, deep background. Really nice illustration, nice quality. Again, this one's great. This is just dealing with these like zombie mutant bats. This is one of the cool things I like about the Resident Evil franchise, because it's essentially a zombie like apocalypse story, but you have these experiments, so we get wild creatures. It makes I think of all of that scenario, of all the zombie fiction out there. I really think Resident Evil is unique. Probably the best setting for any zombie type story is the Resident Evil universe. Awesome Blade advertisement. Now, this is great. We're wrapping things up, but check out the purple, and then we pop in green inside the helicopter. It just seems a great illustration here for the F-15 Tomcats. We have some Tomcats right here, because we are Tom Cruisers. Top Gun all day, all night. See, so I'm not too familiar with Mark Mossman for this story. But almost everything for this story, I would have to research who did it. But check it out, though. I mean, horror comics should be 50-50. 50-50 meaning you have to read them, but you can follow the story just visually. And check this out. They're flying some cargo in. Clearly, something happens. They drop one of the canisters. One of the dudes busts out. The town starts getting infected. Everything starts mutating. Again, so this is almost the experiment. These guys are flying around, dropping the Umbrella Corporation gas, and they are creating havoc. And that's somewhat of the outbreak that we are led to in the beginning of Resident Evil, like that first video game. Carlos D. Adan, right here. The Resident Evil Files, Joe Valentine. Nice illustration here. Very nice illustration. Yeah, more Ted Adams. I have to look up Ted Adams. So this story, I did not read this one, but this is maybe the one break. I mean, we're dealing with big images, which is fantastic, but this is the one story that really feels like it's done by a hey, hire me. I'm an illustrator guy, not an illustrator that wants to change the world. Lots of good Wildstorm. I mean, I would say even pound for pound, the Wildstorm advertisements in all of these books. See, this is what I was saying. We're transitioning into the age of the Authority. No trading card advertisements in that. Need a little bit of a beersy, people. So here we go. Change of format by issue 5. Advertisement, inside front cover, inside front flap, facing credits. So this story here, and the last shall be first. This is a fantastic story. You can see Lee here has really come into his own. I mean, he's blocking in that triple lighting, very well detailed. Backgrounds are there. We can follow the story without reading it. But yeah, I mean, this story is just like a kid that is messed up, that stumbles upon Nemesis. Really cool stuff, and he mutates himself into Nemesis, which is freaking sweet. Enacts his revenge on everyone, right? Really awesome stuff. Look at this, man. Look at that. Like, great short story. Great short story. Chris Redfield. Oh no, Leon Kennedy. Super nice. So, like, this is, I made comments about this. This is the age of the Wildcats that I just don't. I mean, look, I know we have to say we love Travis Charest, but he wasn't consistent enough. And then, like, we just had this idea that Wildcats, somewhat visually, was deconstructing itself and no longer became a superhero-looking team or superhero acting team. Fantastic artwork here. Kurt Busiek's Astro City from Homage. So Wildstorm's firing on all cylinders. They will be sold to DC very soon after this. Look at this liquor illustration here. Resident Evil. So, I had 2 or 3 of these trade paperbacks. I don't know what I did with them. I may have just lent them out. Never got them back. But these Resident Evil files, I really like this stuff. It adds so much to like you're filling up the book. But here we go. So this is probably the best illustrated stories. Carlos Diadande, who has been drawing our character files, he is on another level with this book, with this story. This might be the work he's done with Wildstorm. This might be his absolute best story. Again, everyone just had this very basic understanding of blacks and following action. I just have to say it as an anthology, not to be compared. It is very sad that this only lasted 5 issues. I think these guys had something very special. This is one of Wildstorm's absolute best publications. In an age that they were deconstructing their superhero universe, bringing the Authority into the realm of, like solidifying the Authority into the full consciousness of the comic book readership. And this stuff just passed everyone by, and it sucks. Everyone, Wildstorm Wednesday on the Thursday. Thanks for hanging out. Happy Halloween, and just be on the lookout because we will be doing something with Wildstorm Chamber of Horrors. So rock and roll.